spot Bitcoin ETFs are seeing 7 green consecutive days. Inflows, net inflows, that is, on Monday alone have been very positive at $84 million. If we take a look at the overall chart on CoinGlass, we can see this green streak. I'm sharing that on screen for the last couple of days. And also kind of makes sense. Net inflows are up, price action is up. Even if you look at the bigger picture, going back to last year, you've always seen price moving up when we had these. The price chart is the golden one. When we had this extended green periods of net inflows, which again makes perfect sense, right? There is more demand for BTC, price will go up. And the blog had an article going into some more details on that and a bit more of an analysis. Just to summarize, the key bit is that a lot of institutional players are very, very positive about these recent inflows. Also say that there's some certainty and coming back into the market. That is only specifically for the Bitcoin ETFs, though. The Ethereum side of things does not look as green yet. There's still more uncertainty on that end, but very positive signs for the demand for Bitcoin. And that connects me to the second piece that I wanted to touch on, and that is actually 30-40 minutes old news straight off the printer. BlackRock debuting a physical Bitcoin ETF in ETP, exchange rate product, in Europe, which is a first off. And they are structuring that very similar to the ETFs with a TER, that's the total expense ratio. It's basically the cost of the ETP of 15 bips, 0.15%. At the start will then be raised to match the others at 0.25% at year end. And the reasoning that BlackRock is providing is pretty interesting. So first of all, they're saying they're seeing massive, massive demand from institutions in Europe, and they don't have a domestic product, which makes sense to have a domestic product. You do want that in many jurisdictions, just from a tax perspective. Yes, obviously, we in Europe can buy the American ETPs, but sometimes or oftentimes there's a bit more structural and tax complexity with it. And then from an institution's perspective, you might have a regulation where you're not allowed to buy that US product and you will have to buy something domestic. And they are just following this demand. And specifically, BlackRock is saying with 25 million cryptocurrency investors across Europe, we believe ETPs have an important role to play to build a bridge between crypto and traditional finance through their efficiency and convenience. And just to kind of put that reference frame, or that comparison, the ETP market is substantially smaller in Europe than in the US. The largest product is just housing $1.3 billion in assets under management. Hasn't been that interesting for the big institutions before, but it seems there's a sudden change. And it seems that BlackRock wants to have a piece of that cake and is entering Europe with this product.